Pastor, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present tonight. Okay, so I'm going to get straight to the topic that I'm going to talk about. And the topic tonight is it's from 1 Corinthians 13, and the topic is love never fails. So first I'm going to explain the different types of love. So the first one I'm going to explain, because the ancient Greeks had 4 different words that we could translate for love. And it's important to understand the difference between these words and why Paul chose one specific word to describe and talk about. So the first one is eros, and that's a love that's, when you talk about that, it's between a husband and a wife, that type of love. The second one is storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, is the second word for love. It refers to a family kind of love, the way I love my family, the people that I consider my family who are close to me. The third one is P-H-I-L-I-A, is the third word for love. It speaks of a brotherly kind of love, friendship, affection, the affection and the love that I have for, let's say, Micah, for example, or anyone that's here, Esther, for example, a sisterly love, Jeannie, Bailey. And the third one is what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk a few minutes about agape love. It's the fourth word for love. It's the word that it's a love that loves without changing. It is not something that you love today and then tomorrow you don't love. It's constant. And it's the love that gives without demanding or expecting something in return. I don't love Jeannie because I want Jeannie to give me her water. I love Jeannie because I love Jeannie, and that's what I have to do. And it's a love that's so great that it can be given to the unlovable. So let's say Bailey doesn't really like me, but I love Bailey because that is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to show her that love. And agape love gives and loves because it wants to. It does not demand or expect repayment from the love given. It gives because it loves. It does not love in order to receive. It can be defined as a sacrificial, given, absorbing kind of love. The word has little to do with emotion. It has much to do with self-denial for the sake of another. We can read this in the chapter and think that Paul is saying that if we are unfriendly, then our love means nothing. But agape isn't really friendliness. It's self-denial for the sake of another. So in this chapter, the apostle goes on to show more particularly what that more excellent way of which he had just been speaking about, and he recommends it. And I'm going to just break down three sections of the verses here. Verses 1, 2, and 3 shows the necessity and importance of love. The second part, 4 through 7, shows a description of its properties and fruits. The third, verses 8 through 13, shows how much it excels the best of gifts and other graces by its continuance, when they shall no longer in being or of any use. So far, any questions as I continue? It's the third one is from verse 8 through 13. It shows how much it excels the best of gifts and other graces by its continuance. So it's a continuing emotion. And when they shall no longer in being or of any use. So that's what it is. Now I'm going to say 7 things that love is not. Love is not envious. Love is not proud. Love is not arrogant. Love is not rude. It's not touchy. It's not suspicious. It's not happy with evil. And let's see. So, and in verse 4, I'm just going to read verse 4. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself. It's not puffed up. Does not behave itself rudely. Does not seek its own. Is not provoked. Thinks no evil. Does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. And love, the first one, love does not envy. Envy is one of the least productive and most damaging of all sins. It accomplishes nothing except to hurt. And love keeps us distance from envy, and it does not resent it when someone else is promoted or blessed. Is envy a small sin? Sin is sin, right? Envy murdered Abel in Genesis 4 through 8 through verses through 3 to 8. Envy enslaved Joseph in Genesis 37:11 and verse 28. Envy put Jesus on the cross, right? For he knew that they had handed him over because of envy, Matthew 27, verse 18. Then I'm going to go to the second point. Love does not parade itself. Love in action can work anonymously. It does not have to have the limelight or attention to do a good job or to be satisfied with the results. Love gives because it loves to give, not out of the sense of praise it can have from showing itself off. Love is not puffed up. To be puffed up is to be arrogant and self-focused. We see a lot of that in the workplace, in our community, people that we know. It speaks of someone who has a big head. Love does not get its head swelled, it focuses on the needs of others. The next one, love does not behave rudely. Where there is love, there will be kindness and good manners. Perhaps not in the stuffy, look how cultured I am. Look at me, like, look what I'm doing. I am the way of showing manners, but in the simple way people do behave, people do not behave rudely. So people, especially in high positions, you find sometimes that they're very stuffy and they're very rude. You're not able to speak with them or have a conversation because they're like, you're not in the same level. Love is not provoked. Next one, we all find it easy to be provoked or to be irritated with those who are just plain annoying. That's a normal thing. You meet annoying people, you sometimes do something, you don't even know you annoy someone, but it happens. It's life. But it is a sin to be provoked, and it isn't love. This is definitely not love when somebody irritates you for no, as Christians, we know better. And Moses was kept from the promised land because he became provoked at the people of Israel in Numbers 20, verses 2 through 11. The next one, love thinks no evil. Literally, this means love does not store up the memory of wrong if it has received. Love will put away the hurts of the past instead of clinging to them. This is probably one of the most difficult things to do. When people hurt you, you tend to hold on to that. That is not love. And I can talk for myself. It's difficult sometimes to do that, to move on. But as Christians, we know better. And the last one, love does not rejoice in iniquity. It is willing to want the best for others and refuses to color things against others. Instead, love rejoices in the truth. Love can always stand with and on truth because love is pure and good like truth. So I'm going to go to the last section of my presentation. 4 things love is. And I chose 4 things because I could go on and on about something like love. Because there's so many things, so many variations. Love, I'm going to just stick with the chapter. We might have hoped Paul would have chosen the phrase, but this, all things covers everything. We can bear some things, we can believe some things, we can hope some things, we can endure some things, but God calls us further and deeper into love for him, for one another, and for a perishing world. Be prepared, therefore, to contend with all things in them. And this is from Spurgeon. I use a lot of the references that I have here from Spurgeon tonight. That was one of my main go-to. Love bears all things. The word for bears can also be translated covers. Either way, Paul brings an important truth along with 1 Peter 4, verse 8, and above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. And we know that. Love stands in the presence of a fault with a finger on her lip. Spurgeon again. I'm just going to repeat that. Love stands in the presence of a fault with a finger on her lip. Second one, love believes in all things. We never believe a lie. We should never believe a lie. But we never believe evil unless the facts demand it. We choose to believe the best of others. Love, as far as she can, believes in her fellows. And I'm going to go to the next one for the sake of time. Love hopes all things. Love has confidence in the future, not pessimism. When hurt, it does not say it will be this way forever and even get worse. It hopes for the best and hopes in God. The fourth one, love endures all things. Most of us can bear all things and believe all things and hope all things, but only for a while. The greatness of agape love as it keeps on bearing, believing, and hoping. It doesn't give up. It destroys enemies by turning them into friends. Think about that for a second. You know, it's like, if your brethren were angry without a cause, be sorry for them. Do not let them conquer you by driving you into a bad temper. Stand fast in love. Endure not some things, but all things for Christ's sake. So you shall prove yourself to be a Christian indeed, Spurgeon. And love will never fail. The Bible says that love is of God. 1 John 4:7, which reads, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Second one, the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians 5:22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. The third one, he first loved us. We love him because he first loved us. It's in the Bible. Even in the Bible, it started love. So he sacrificed himself for us. Ephesians 5:2, and walk in the way of love, just as God loved us and gave himself up as a fragment offering and sacrifice to God. The last one, Jesus also taught that we ought to love one another. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You are also to love one another. First John 13:34-35. He set an example of kindness and love by serving the poor, the sick, and the distressed. And I can say one thing in our church here at Heritage, the pastor has really guided us in the direction of serving. If you don't know what serving is, just talk to Pastor Matt. Because I mean, this is what Ashok and I did when we were here. We served in a way, in a capacity that it was selfless. And we give it our best shot. In closing, Paul has called out a source of hot conflict between the Christians living in Corinth. Instead of being united together as God had called them to be, they have divided themselves into fractions based on their loyalty to different leaders. What is the main point of 1 Corinthians 13? And in my opinion, we learned that the Apostle Paul taught these saints how to promote unity in the church, how to learn the things of God, the role of the believers, and that we are to imitate the love of Jesus by using our gifts while serving and loving others, just as he did when he was here on the earth. And that's my presentation tonight. Thank you to my family who's on and my husband.
Does anybody have a question? Does anyone?
Yes, Bailey.
Wow. Can you tell us how you settled on that passage for your presentation?
Because there is so much hate and hurt that's going on in the world right now. And just not in the United States, it's everywhere. In families and friends and relationships, that I feel like we need to stress that love heals and it conquers all.
Liz, hi.
Hi.
I have a question. Can you please repeat the 4 Greek words?
Oh, the Greek words?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
I'm going to spell it. Eros is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Eros. The second is Storge. Storge, Storge.
Okay.
The third, Philia. 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 And the last one is agape.
Okay.
Agape.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
What of the different descriptions of love, what was the most personally challenging or convicting to you, you think, when you studied through them? Was there anyone that stood out?
Agape.
Oh, I just agape.
Yeah, well, I mean, The others, it's what we're supposed to do. Like, we're supposed to love our family.
No, in the different descriptions of love, like suffers long, is kind,
Oh,
envies not, vaunted, all those different descriptions of love.
so it says, to bear all things. Yeah. To me, when I read that, it had me thinking for a second, to bear all things. Love bears all things.
Mhm.
So, and right behind that would be endures all things. How we endure stuff? What do we do? So is there going to be an end to this? How is it going to end? What's going to happen next? So,
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Liz. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.